Imagine with me, you've been planning a date with your significant other. You've marked your calendars, you agreed on the time, the place. You're so excited. You dress up, you get out your special plates, you put out the candles, and you're sitting there ready to just enjoy this relationship. When all of a sudden you get a phone call. It's your significant other, and they want to change the appointment. How are you feeling? Your disappointment. You're feeling hurt, heartbroken. Why? Because we all were made for relationship, for love. In fact, I'd like to talk to you today about a special date that God has made for you and me. And when we don't show up for that date, He feels the same way, hurt, heartbroken. Why am I going to talk to you about this? Because I've been keeping this date with God for over half my life, and it is incredible. I'm going to talk to you about 3 things. When this date is, how this date has changed, and why it matters. Now, I think we can all agree that communication is vitally important in a relationship. And it just so happens that in over 100 languages, the name for the day that we call Saturday is literally interpreted as the Sabbath. For example, Saturday in Spanish is Sábado, which literally means Sabbath. It's also interesting to note that in Ghana, the day for Sunday is literally translated meaning white man has changed this day. This is all according to whitehorsemedia.com in the article, Welcome to the Sabbath Zone. Now, not only in our languages, but this special date with God is also clearly defined in our common dictionary. If you were to get out your Merriam-Webster's dictionary, you would find the definition for this date with God, or Sabbath is what you would look up, and it would tell you that it begins on the 7th day of the week, and it's observed from Friday evening to Saturday evening. We can also find, according to the World Book of Encyclopedia, that the Sabbath comes on Saturday, the 7th day of the week. Now, why does this all matter? Because you need to mark your calendar. You need to know when this date is. In fact, for the Christians, they find that the Bible is their source of authority. And according to the Bible, in Exodus chapter 28 through 11, it begins by telling us to remember. Why does it say the word remember? Because when you're setting an appointment with someone, when you're setting a date with someone, and you want to have that time, you want to make sure that they remember so that you can experience that relationship with them. So he says, remember the Sabbath day to keep it holy. Then he tells you it's his day. It's the Sabbath of the Lord your God. It's the day that he wants to spend with you. He's preparing it to make it special. And then he tells us that it was specifically set apart. It was sanctified. That just means it was set apart. It was for a special purpose, for you. He wants to have a relationship with you. So you've seen in the languages, in the dictionary, and also in the Bible, that Saturday, the 7th day of the week, is this special date that God has set aside for us. Now let's talk about how it was changed. Now, according to the Converts of Catechism of the Catholic Doctrine, a reverend named Peter Gearman states it this way. He says, we observe Sunday instead of Saturday. So they have their date on Sunday instead of on Sabbath, because the Catholic Church transferred the solemnity from Saturday to Sunday. Now, this was made official at the Council of Laodicea. Another priest named Thomas Enright states it this way on behalf of the Catholic Church. He says, by my divine power, I abolish the Sabbath day and command you to keep holy the first day of the week. It's kind of like in that opening story we saw the significant other that called and made another day. And the heartbroken and the feeling of disappointment that was experienced. The same thing is happening here. They're changing the date. And it says, And lo, the entire civilized world bows down in reverent obedience to the command, not of God, but of the Holy Catholic Church. So now you've seen what day the Sabbath or this date with God is. You've seen a little bit about how it was changed. But let's talk about why it really matters. Let's get to the heart of this matter. You see, we were all made for relationship, for love. And what God is telling us in John chapter 14, verse 15 is he says, if you love me, keep my commandments. In other words, mark your calendar and remember that date that he set for you. That's all he's saying. He says, look, if you really love me, and if you go back to that opening illustration of that date, if that significant other really loved you, they would have never stood you up on that date. They never would have found something more important. They would have been just as excited. They would have dressed up. They would have came with something special because they just wanted time with you. So why does it matter? Because love matters. Because relationship matters. And God is asking you to enter into relationship with him, to experience what we all need, which is love. What we all need, which is time and rest. And so he's challenging you. He's inviting you to set aside that day that he set aside for you. Mark your calendars, the 7th day of the week, and make an appointment with him. Don't leave him sitting there. Don't stand him up. Don't leave him disappointed and feeling heartbroken. But try it out. Maybe you've never heard of this before. Just mark your calendar. Just give it a try. So this next Saturday, or maybe 2 weeks from now on Saturday, put your homework aside, put all the cares of your life aside, put all the things that seem to just stress you out aside, and just take a moment to rest. Get to know yourself better. Get to know your family better. Go out into nature and get to know all the wonderful things that God has made for you. And in this process, you will meet with God and you will experience his love and you will learn what is the Sabbath. So what would keep you from accepting this special invitation to have love and relationship on Sabbath? I'm going to do it. And I'm challenging you to join me in having a date with God.